Another one for the Fendt fans today. We've got a Fendt 718 loader tractor and we're going to do the injectors on it today. So we'll just blown it all off now outside, got rid of all the dust on the bonnet. We'll get it back in the workshop and start getting them out. Right, first job here. We're just undoing the two exhaust clamps. They've got two 13mm nuts, M8s. Slack them off and then we'll remove that big silver silencer that you can just see above my right hand there. As I was saying before, there's nothing actually up with this tractor, but it's done 8,000 hours now. It's been known in the past that some of the injectors can let go and create like a diesel hotspot on top of the piston if they're not atomising correctly. Then it ends up burning a hole into the piston, and then when it does that, it's engine rebuild job, and they've no lines in these tractors, so you have to get them bored out, oversized, and you have to drop a liner in them. So to prevent that happening to this tractor, the customer wants injectors changing so that this never happens to this tractor. There's a few of these tractors who have done that exact same thing at these sort of hours in this local area, so prevention's better than cure. This tractor here is fitted with a loader. Only got put on a few months ago. I put it on, I fitted all pipe work and frames and everything, and now I'm just taking off the bonnet guard with my Milwaukee there. The bonnet guard just saves the bonnet from being bashed when you're driving into the loader, because the loader's such a tight fit on these Fendts. So just undoing that now. Next job is to take the rocker cover off. Now we've got a bit of room on top of it. The bolts for the rocker cover are underneath these plastic flaps, so you just have to get a screwdriver, just flick them up, and you can get to the little 8mm bolts underneath that. I'm just undoing the rocker cover bolts now. Once I've got these undone, we'll lift the rocker cover out of the way. There's a couple of brackets and things like that at the front of the rocker cover that you need to take off to be able to lift it up and get it out of the way. I've got the rocker cover up now. I've just marked the wires to each injector. I always mark the right hand side wire to the right hand side terminal of the injector, so that when we're taking them off, when we're putting them back together, you can't get them mixed up. I'm just pointing here at these, a couple of plugs that go through the rocker cover that you have to undo to get the wiring loom out. The wiring loom's a separate piece on these, so I'm just undoing all the plugs on top of the all the terminals on top of the injectors, and we'll get rid of that wiring looming so we can whip them injectors out. Just undoing all the bolts that hold the wiring loom under the rocker cover, and we'll get that pulled out. Got to be really careful here that you don't drop any of them bolts into the engine, as you're in big trouble if you drop anything in there. Right, you can see the 6 dots next to the green cap there. I've took the injector pipe off from the common rail to the injector itself, and then next job now is to pull what they call a stack pipe out the side of the block that you can, I don't think you can just see it. I'm just marking the injector pipe. The common rail has got loads of pipes coming off. It's got feed pipes, and it's got from the injection pumps to the common rail, and then it comes out the rail and it goes to the injector. But they're not in number, they cross over from each other, so I mark the rail and then I mark the pipe, so you can't get it wrong when you're putting it all back together. As soon as you get that pipe off, we're putting these green bungs on, as the biggest thing with this job is cleanliness. Common rail diesels and dirt just do not mix. Any sort of dirt and you will knacker the injector when you put a new one in it, so you've got to be so clean when you're taking them out and putting them back in. Almost surgically clean. Right, next job now. There's like a cone fitting, which is a 24mm head on it. It's a bit awkward to see because it's got that much stuff behind it, but I'm undoing that with my ratchet, and then that pushes the stack pipe into the injector, which feeds the injector with diesel. So you have to take that cone fitting off, pull that out, pull the stack pipe out, undo the injector clamp at the top, and then you can pull the injector out through the top. It's not as complicated as it sounds. It's all pretty straightforward really, but it's just awkward seeing it. Here I am with a pair of pliers. I've just pulled the stack pipe out, and that the end's tapered, and that pushes into the injector. It's got two little ball bearings at the side, and they go into a slot, so you can't put it in a wrong way. There's a little O-ring there as well to seal it. You change these with every injector. You don't reuse them. I'm just slacking off the injector now. With these Fendts, they're quite good. You can take the injector out without removing the rocker shaft. If you had to remove the rocker shaft, it'd be a real big job on these engines. So doing it this way just saves a lot of time and a lot of messing. Before I put it back together, I just check all the tappets, but I think they've been set not that long ago, because there's a couple of tippet marks on them, and they were all right when I've checked them. But as you can, I think the customer's just serviced it as well, because all the oil's quite clean. On the top there, it's not black. So I think someone's been in here not that long ago. Just getting a pair of pliers now to take the injector clamp bolt out, because we don't want that dropping down and causing mischief. Got the Fendt special injector puller tool. The injector's that tightly packed with the valve springs that you just can't get anything to it. So I made this tool a while ago, as I've done a few sets of these now. And with this tool you can just get under the clamp and flick them out. You've got nothing to pull off on top of the injector, as it's just a plastic cap and you just snap it off straight away. These common rail injectors, I've never really had too much bother getting them out. They always come out a lot easier than the old-fashioned type injectors where they seem to seize in. These seal on O-rings and a copper washer at the bottom, so the body of it isn't in a lot of contact, so they don't seem to seize up the same as the old ones. If this was an old tractor with the old type injector, and you'd never get them out with this technique. You'd have to make a tool with a slide hammer and hammer them out. But these, you can just flick them out. It is quite fiddly to do it, and you've got to have a bit of a knack to do it. But you can just do it. You can just hear it now, and you've got to take the clamps. Got to come with the injector. They've got to come out together. But I've managed to get this one out. I've done number 5 injector, because it's the best one that you can see with the camera. All the others are really awkward, so I'm just showing you the old injector here. And I'll just show you them flats for the clamp, and then that hole there, that's what that little piece that I took out before, that what feeds the injector with diesel. And then the 2 wires on top of the injector, they actually turn the injector on and off. So there's no injection pump on this, which is in time with the engine. The pump just charges the common rail with diesel all the time, and then it's your injectors themselves that time when they open and close to what position the engine's in. And they work at stupid high pressure as well. So when you're messing around with common rail diesel systems, you should never ever ever crack an injector off when you're working on these machines. That's what I've always been taught, is the high pressure can inject in your skin and cause you all sorts of damage. Just fishing the clamp out now. It's a bit awkward to get to between them valve springs, but you can just do it. It's a bit of a fiddly job this, and you've got to have a bit of patience, and it's not a job you can rush. Got the new injectors now. Got 6 new injectors. Cost quite a lot of money. These are recon units. They're not brand new, but you get a good warranty with them, and the Bosch recon units, the genuine Bosch ones. New stack pipe. Again, the biggest thing with this is cleanliness. You've got to keep everything really, really clean when you're putting it back together. Got the new injector now, putting the old clamp on it. I've cleaned off all the surface. I've cleaned the holes out where the injectors fit. I've just gone with a hoover on them, and we're ready to put the new injector in. I'm doing number 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing number 4, as it's the easiest one you can see with the camera, where I can get the camera in on both hands, and you can just see what I'm doing. You've just got to tease the injector in and the clamp sort of together, and you can just do it. If you get the knack right, and once you've got the knack for one, then the rest of them go in a lot easier. They're all in. That's pushed in nice now. That just dropped in. We'll just double check it. Have a look in the camera, make sure the clamp's in the right place, not catching anything. Make sure it's free, not tight, and then we'll very carefully now just lower the bolt in with the socket, and we'll get ready to tighten that up. Got the bolt in. Just gonna nip it down now, nice and gently, until you can feel the injector being squeezed down, and you just want to squeeze it down just enough until it's all the way down, but you're not really tightening it up. As now, the next thing you need to do is you need to put the stack pipe in, because you've got to line the stack pipe up with the injector, so you've got to do a little bit of each at a time to get them to locate nice. So then you torque them both up. I can't remember what I torqued them to now. But here you can see I've just nipped it down now, and then I've got a stack pipe in. I'm just showing you the ball bearings next to my finger. You've got to be quite careful putting them in. Again, you've got to keep everything really, really clean. Just tightening up there. I'm just struggling a little bit just to get them ball bearings located in the hole, because they go tight on the O-ring before they locate with the ball bearings. You only know if they're not quite lined up is when you start tightening with a ratchet, and you feel it go solid too early, and there's a lot of thread sticking out. So it's a bit of messing to just get them lined up, but we'll get there in the end. Next job is to get the common rail pipe that feeds the injector from the common rail. Take the caps off at the last minute. Blow the pipes out with brake and clutch cleaner. Don't use compressed air, because you can end up with moist. It can blow moisture in it if your compressor's got loads of water in it. So I always use brake and clutch. Make sure it's evaporated out, and then put them on fairly quickly, and try not to let any dust and any rubbish that get in between them. Just nipping them up now with a spanner. And so that's how you change one injector. Then I'm just going to do the other ones now. I've already done a few before I started filming this, but this is just the easiest one that I could show you to film, as the others are quite awkward to see. Here, time lapse now of me just doing the rest of them now, getting them all lined up. We've torqued the bolts up on the clamps, the squeeze injector up, and we've torqued up the little stack pipes that push into the injector. All them are nice and tight and torqued up now. Next job is we'll give this a bit of another clean, quick hoover off, and then we'll lay the wiring loom on top of the rocker cover, and then we'll take them caps off, and we'll screw the wires onto the injectors. Oh, there's a clamp as well down there that we need to reattach. All the pipes on the fuel rail, all there on the feed pipes. Yeah, we're getting there.
So I'm just putting the wiring loom back on, just being really careful now because the bolts are all still in it, and I don't want to drop a bolt anywhere because I'll never find it, and it'd be absolutely catastrophic if I drop a little Allen key bolt in the engine. Just being really careful not to drop anything, and also not to try and touch anything above and knock anything and knock a big chunk of painting or anything like that. Just giving them all a tweak now, all the injectors, tighten up the wires. I've put the rocker cover back on, put the exhaust pipe back on, and now we're ready to try it. So fingers crossed, hopefully this fires up. It'll take a fair bit of winding over when you've done this. It gets a bit nerve-wracking. Until she fires, starts getting a bit worried now. Thinking, oh, there's a big blob of shit dropped in somewhere, or I've been too dirty, it's got muck in it. I'll just get the hand pump there and give it a couple of pumps with the hand primer on top of the fuel filter, trying to bleed it up. And we'll try again. A bit smoky there, but she's running, so really happy with that. I can relax a bit now. That smoke at the start, it can be from a thing called the calibration fluid, which is what the injectors are full of when they've like been set up and tested. But she's running, and it cleans up really quick, that, so job's a good one. Thanks for watching.